Okay, before I start this video, I want to start off by saying that, I have no idea what I'm doing. And if I'm looking over to here, it is because I have, a written out thing that I'm looking at in case I get off track. Because I have a lot to say. So let's get into it. Hi, hello, my name is Emily. I'm 20 years old and I suffer from borderline personality disorder. I wanted to make a video to kind of share my experience, share my stories, and kind of give more of an insight to what this disorder looks like to someone who's kind of trying to live a normal life, if that makes sense. Not like a normal life. I don't know. I'm just trying to live. First thing I want to do is give a trigger warning. There will be talk of mental health, self-harm and suicide. And also I just want to say that I am in no way a mental health professional. I have no idea what I'm doing. I am solely going off my experiences and my symptoms and what my life has been like with this disorder. So my main goal for this video and for this channel, I guess, is to give my experiences and talk about my mental health in hopes to maybe help people understand certain disorders or mental health experiences better, I guess. This is solely just my stories, my experiences, so I cannot speak for everyone with this disorder. I cannot speak for anyone else except for myself, essentially. So, anyway, let's get into this. Let's get personal, because this is going to be really personal, and this is going to be really difficult for me to film and talk about and send out to the internet for a bunch of strangers. So let's go. So borderline personality disorder, let's start there. I have a little thing here, as I said. Google defines it as a personality disorder characterized by severe mood swings, impulsive behavior, and difficulty forming stable personal relationships. And this is something that I have suffered with almost my entire life, without even realizing it. There are things that I look back on as a kid and I'm like, that's not normal. That's not what a kid should be doing. And that's not a proper way for a child or someone just in general to how to react. That's not how people should react to things, if that makes sense. For example, when I was about 8 or 9 or 10, 8 to 10, around that age, I used to collect snow globes. I have always collected everything. I collect so many things. I always have been a collector. I like little similar things that go together. But I had a collection of snow globes and they were my most prized possession. And I remember one day I was frustrated because I was trying to get ready for school or gymnastics or something. I was just trying to get ready for something. And my hair wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And so instead of stepping away, calming down, maybe asking for help, I decided to grab my favorite snow globe and smash it over my dresser. But I was so angry and so frustrated that I just needed to break something. And so I had this fit of rage and I smashed it. And all of a sudden I'm so upset because I've just smashed my favorite snow globe, and I'm crying hysterically because I've just broken it and it's my fault. Honestly, that was just I was just full of such big emotions because of this small little thing that could have been easily fixed if I had taken the time to think about it and been okay, let me ask for help. Let me, take a second and breathe. Maybe I should try a different hairstyle, little things like that. And although that's like kind of like, I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if other people did that. But like I used to break things because I would get mad, and then I would get really upset when I broke said things. Another thing where I was not reacting the way I probably should have, I guess, was when I was 13. I had my first like real-ish boyfriend. It was, I don't know, it was just, you know, like a high school year 7 relationship. It wasn't really anything like too dramatic, but I was infatuated. I was in love with this boy. He was everything to me. He was like the only reason I would go to school. Like I was excited to go to school to see him. We weren't even in the same classes, but like I would see him in the morning and sometimes at lunch. And it got to a point where my happiness and my well-being was, you know, because of him. Like I would depend my mood on if we were okay, if he was talking to me, how he, like, it was very unhealthy, extremely unhealthy, especially for like at that age, because what 13-year-old boy wants to deal with that? He was so incredibly sweet, and honestly the best first boyfriend I could have ever had. And he was really sweet, he was really patient, he put up with all my stuff. He was there for me when I didn't, you know, deserve it. You know, I would do stupid things where I would harm myself, and I would send him photos, or I would tell him that I was going to kill myself for attention, so that he would, you know, stay with me. And it was just, I'm so sorry. Like I don't even know how I thought that was okay. And during this whole relationship, he was going through his own stuff. He had his own like thing happening in his life that was extremely devastating to him. And as bad as it sounded and as like disgusting as it is, I did not care. I didn't. I was incredibly selfish, and I only cared about my happiness and my well-being and him paying attention to me, which is, you know, disgustingly toxic, and I'm aware of that. So when we broke up, he broke up with me. Thank God for him. He was so sweet. He was so kind. He basically just said to me, like, I just don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I really want to be friends. And I wanted to burn the whole school down. I was screaming, crying. This was at school when this happened. I was at school. And so I want to say overreacted, but I feel like for the emotions that I was feeling at that time, I didn't really know how to like process that. I felt like I was responding how I was feeling inside, but that was my own fault for putting that much onto him at 13. But I'm so glad that he was able to make that decision and get out of this relationship, because it was very toxic, very, very toxic for him. For both of us, really. Like, he was great. He did nothing wrong to me. But the way I was behaving was completely toxic, and I'm so sorry to him, for that. And I understand that like all teenagers of this age are incredibly selfish, and we don't care about our own life, like anyone else's lives but our own. I just feel like this was magnified because of my disorder. I didn't know about it back then, but like I look back now, and I realized that like that was disgusting behavior, and he did not deserve that. The mood swings that I experience are pretty rough, but they're not as obvious and kind of like bam bam as I guess someone would expect. They are extreme, they can be extreme, but they're not like from this to that, or at least mine aren't. My mood swings they happen fast, but like it's a process. It kind of goes from me being in one mood and then like thoughts come in or I get distracted by something and then suddenly I'm this mood. And it's quick, but it's not like flash fast. Like it's not like extremely fast. But for example, I will be crying, devastated over something, and I'm in a completely dark place, and I'm having these terrible thoughts and I'm just absolutely devastated, and something like TikTok or my partner will distract me. I'll hop on TikTok and I'll just forget everything that I was just crying about. Or my partner will try to make me laugh, try to distract me and talk about something else, or try and make me smile. My thoughts go from like really, really dark and then, oh, it's not so bad, blah, 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 blah. I'm fine now. In the span of like 2 to 5 minutes. That's an extreme case. Well, it's not really an extreme case. Extreme case would be when I'm bouncing off the walls and I'm so hyper. I'm running around, I'm laughing, I'm just being extremely hyper, to then crying and wanting to harm myself because of something that my brain made up. For example, I'm medicated. So I've forgotten my medication on 2 occasions since being diagnosed and being prescribed these medications. Both times were an accident. I never purposely forgot my medication. I've never tried to take myself off my medication because of these exact circumstances. There was the second time it happened, I was in a dark space for weeks. It took me weeks to recover from missing my tablet one time. And I was, having these really, again, dark thoughts and wanting to harm myself and, thinking about whether I want to be in this world or not. And it was a deep, dark depression, and I hated feeling like that. I didn't want to feel like that. And so I never forget my medication. I've never forgotten it ever again since then, and that was like March of this year. So something that also happens when I don't take my medication is I start to lash out on people. I start to self-sabotage and try and ruin my relationships with my friends, family, partner, whatever. And I spend money I don't have. It's a pretty awful feeling, so I will not be missing my medication again. Something that's not mentioned in the definition of borderline personality disorder is abandonment and rejection, a fear of abandonment issues and fear of rejection, which is something that is at the core of my struggle. That is something that I struggle severely with. Most of my depression episodes, most of why I cry for no reason, well, not for no reason, but I cry out of nowhere, is because I feel like someone close to me is about to leave. I'm not exactly sure where my abandonment issues came from. I can't really pinpoint exactly where it happened, but there have been a few occasions throughout my childhood where I felt like I was abandoned by someone I cared very deeply about. So I really cannot pinpoint a certain event that happened. I kind of had this constant lingering feeling that everyone I love is gonna realize, see me how I see me, and realize that I'm a bad person, and they're gonna wake up one day and they're just gonna leave. I've done a lot of messed up and selfish things throughout my life that I can't take back. And I can't blame it on anything else but the fact that's what I did. And I just have to live with that and learn from that. And I still think of myself as that person. I've grown so much in the past 4 years. Like, my life is completely turned around. I'm a completely different person than I was even last year. But I still see myself as that person, and I worry that one day everyone's gonna wake up and see me like that too. Whenever I feel like someone is going to abandon me, I start feeling attacked, and I feel like I'm up against a wall and I'm being backed up against the wall. So I tend to get very defensive and try and hurt them the way they hurt me, which is not okay behavior. I'm aware of that, and I'm really trying to work on that, because it's not okay, and I can't blame it on anything but the fact that I just need to be better. And that's that. I also just don't feel like I deserve the love and kindness that I receive every day from everyone around me. I, again, still see myself as this person that did all these bad things and was a bad person to other people around me. And I just do not believe that I deserve it. But I'm trying. Something I'm really trying to accept is that I am allowed to be loved, and I'm allowed to accept other people's love and kindness, because I want to give that to them. It's not fair that they can't give it to me, if that makes sense. Impulsiveness is probably one of my greatest weaknesses. I am very impulsive. As I said before, I spend money that I don't have because I see something and it's like, ooh, I need that. And if I took a second and I was like, do I actually need that? No? Okay. I have been getting better at that because I am currently unemployed, which is a whole other situation that I will not get into right now because it's still too early to talk about it. But it's better now that I don't have a job, because I don't have money to waste on stupid stuff, which has been allowing me to think more critically about the things that I want when I see them. So now, like, when I make a purchase, it really has to mean it, because I don't have this kind of money to just spend anymore. I got bills to pay, I got, things to pay off. And it allows me to be like, okay, well, I enjoyed this for more than 5 seconds. No, great, move on. I was diagnosed about a year ago, just over a year ago now. The day it happened, I was home alone. I don't know where my mom, I was living with my mom. I don't know where she was. I think she was at work or out somewhere, I'm not sure. And I was very hyper. I have a video of that night about 10 minutes before disaster struck. So here's that video. This is currently what I'm doing.
Not everybody in Riverdale's rotten like you.
Uncle Frank, how do you guys pull this off?
Eric and I called a couple shelters and good dogs.
No, I don't exactly know when things started to shift in my mind. I don't really remember much about what happened that night, but what I do remember is sitting on my bedroom floor sobbing because I wanted to end my life. I had these voices telling me that it was my time to go, that I was ready to go. There was nothing left for me. There was nothing that I needed to experience anymore. And I just, it was really hard because I had this voice telling me that it's my time to go, and the logical part of my brain was like, no, I'm not ready. And I felt like I had this need to do something. Like I just needed to hurt myself. Now, luckily, I was able to stop myself before anything very dangerous happened. And I begged my mom to take me to the hospital, which I can't even imagine what that was like for her. My whole experience with mental health, I cannot even imagine what she went through. But I got to the hospital and I was sobbing to the nurses, being like, I don't know what's going on. I want to hurt myself, but I don't. And I feel like I'm going to. And so I spent about 3 hours in the hospital in a room, and the nurses were very kind. They were very kind to me. They were making sure I was okay because I was sitting there sobbing for like 3 hours. And I finally get brought into a room with these two mental health professionals. They basically asked me if I knew what borderline personality disorder was, and they diagnosed me there. They kind of gave me the definition, asked me to research it, and recommended I go into behavioral therapy to help, reconstruct my thinking patterns, because that's the main cause of why I react like this, is that I have a thought, and instead of going, thought, this is dumb, out of the brain, it kind of goes, thought, oh God, what, oh God, oh God, I'm gonna, this is not okay, and then it just spirals out of control and becomes a whole big situation that it's just not. Now, this isn't the first time that I've been admitted to the hospital because of a breakdown like this. The first time this happened was November 4th, 2017. And I tried to commit suicide at home when I was alone before school. And I'm very lucky that I was stopped and taken to the hospital straight away, which I was there all day. And I just remember feeling very alone, and no one really understood me, and that there was nothing for me to experience. I didn't feel like there was anything left both times. But I'm very lucky that last year I met my partner, and he has been so incredibly kind and patient and just given me so much unconditional love and support. He's taught me that I deserve to be loved, and he's just been through everything with him, and he's just made life, bright again. He's helped me learn that I'm more than my diagnosis. So life is good with him. My previous therapist was incredibly unhelpful. She was a nightmare, to be honest. I remember growing up feeling like there was something wrong with me, always feeling like there's something wrong. I need help because there's something wrong. And she would always tell me everything I was feeling was normal for depression and anxiety, and that I was fine. That was that. I really don't know how to explain it, but when I was dreaming, I felt like I was awake, and when I was awake, I felt like I was dreaming. And I really couldn't tell the difference between what my brain made up and reality, and it was terrifying. I didn't feel like anything was real. I felt like everything was so fuzzy. There was a massive amount of brain fog, and I couldn't tell the difference between like what was going on. And I remember telling her this, and she just said it was normal and not to worry about it because it's just depression and then I'm fine. Which experiencing that is already incredibly scary. It's incredibly scary because I have no idea what's going on. I feel like I'm slipping off the face of the earth. And anyway, but I'm in a really good place now. I am so much further than I thought I would be at this point in my life. I'm 20 years old, and I didn't think at 15 years old, I didn't think that I would even make it to 18. And I'm gonna turn 21 next year, early next year. And I have this amazing partner who I see spending the rest of my life with. And, we have this future we want to plan together. And it's just, that's all I've ever wanted. It's all I've ever wanted in life is just to fall in love and feel loved by someone else. So I'm really glad and I'm really lucky that I have him now. And we we live in our own house now, and we have a really great life together. So I am doing amazing considering everything that's going on in my life. And I wish that my 13, 14, 15-year-old self could see me now, because I think that she would be incredibly proud and excited and probably wouldn't believe where I am today. So I just wanted to say thank you so much if you've made it to this point. It is a lot of rambling and kind of all over the place, but thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see something else from me, or if you have any feedback, I would love to hear it. I have so many more stories that I just cannot think of right now, and that I would love to tell one day, and I would love to get my stories out there and, maybe help some people. But please be nice to me, yourself, and others, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.